In this video, we'll look into using self-directed IRAs when purchasing DCF income payments. People frequently ask about qualified funds, whether it's in an IRA, a Roth IRA, an inherited IRA, 401k, pension plan. This video will address rolling over various different sorts of qualified funds into a self-directed IRA in order to buy DCF payments. If we don't cover it in this particular video, just simply pick up the phone and give us a call. In this video, you'll understand the self-directed IRA custodian's role, complying with IRS rules, transfers, required minimum distributions. We'll also talk about Gold Star as the best custodian for working with DCF income payments. We'll also talk about IRA accounts in general with the account application, the transfer forms, and the different documents you'll need in order to open an account and get funds transferred into it for purposes of purchasing a payment stream. We'll look at the closing book and the electronic DocuSign signatures required when buying in the name of your IRA. What is a self-directed IRA? A self-directed IRA allows you to make alternative investments, whereas a regular IRA account held at a custodian such as Schwab or Fidelity only offers standard products and stocks and bonds issued by Fidelity and Schwab. Self-directed IRAs allow you to do a variety of other things such as real estate, metals, Bitcoin, private placements, and DCF income payments. You can learn a little bit more about self-directed IRAs in Wikipedia or elsewhere online. But basically a self-directed IRA it's your own IRA dollars transferred in, and it's handled by a custodian that allows you to invest in anything you want to invest in that is allowed by IRS regulations, as opposed to a limited menu of options by more mainstream IRA custodians. You can roll over all different kinds of qualified accounts into a self-directed IRA. Accounts such as a 401k or 403b, or traditional or a SEP IRA. There are no tax consequences for transfers from one IRA custodian to another IRA. The custodian-to-custodian transfer is easily accomplished with a simple form that you would execute directing GoldStar to talk to your current custodian and move funds. There are IRS provisions that need to be complied with, and if you follow the rules, things are very simple. Note, if you're currently in a retirement plan such as a 401k or a pension, there may be in-service rollover restrictions that would need to be worked out with your current plan administrator. There are no tax consequences doing an IRA to a new self-directed IRA. DCF income payments pay directly into your IRA account, so monthly payment streams are not taxable until you take a distribution from your IRA. This is an area that many people get a little confusion about. They're doing a self-directed IRA and they buy a monthly payment stream thinking that they have a specific distribution associated with that monthly plan, when in fact you can own multiple payment streams and various different assets in your self-directed IRA. Your distributions are a separate instruction that you would give to GoldStar Trust. So if you have 10 payment streams, you can direct them to give you one quarterly payment instead of 10 different monthly distributions. Payment streams are not taxable until they are taken as a distribution. IRAs are particularly good for deferred income streams and for lump sums because, once again, taxes are only due when distributions are taken. Required minimum distributions are calculated on the balance of all your qualified accounts as of 12/31 of each year. And they're required to be paid after, I believe it's 72.5 now, based on new changes to IRS regulations. All the payment streams you would own in a self-directed IRA, plus all the values of your other IRAs, would equal the total balance needed for RMD calculations. You can take cash from any IRA to pay all of your RMD requirements. The DCF income payment stream does not need to stand alone and satisfy an RMD. You should be planning for RMDs before buying deferred and lump sum payment streams to ensure across all of your qualified accounts that there is sufficient cash available to make RMDs. GoldStar Trust is our IRA custodian of choice. They have very low cost, excellent service, and fast response times. We've worked with other IRA custodians in the past, such as Provident Trust IRA Services, Pensco Private Ledger, and they're all more expensive, less flexible, and much more difficult to deal with. Above all, they're much more expensive in terms of distributions, asset management fees, etc. I wouldn't recommend anyone go anywhere other than GoldStar Trust. GoldStar plays 3 roles for the DCF Exchange business and in handling your DCF income payment. First of all, They are the escrow agent. They receive and handle all purchaser funds. If you're buying with non-qualified funds, you'd be wiring into a GoldStar escrow account. When you're buying with your IRA, a direction of investment form moves money out of your IRA and into that same escrow account to purchase a payment stream. The dispersing department at GoldStar Trust Company handles each payment stream when it comes in from the insurance carrier and pays it on to the end recipient. If the end recipient is your IRA, you're dealing with two different departments at GoldStar Trust. It comes into the dispersing or payment servicing department, and then it goes into the IRA department and is posted to the cash account in your IRA. And obviously, on the topic of this video, GoldStar is also the IRA custodian of choice. So when you're buying with your IRA, the purchase timeline is important to keep in mind. In-stock cases can close right away. So if you're looking at an in-stock case and you need to open an IRA and do a transfer into the IRA, we'll be ready long before your funds are available. So that needs to move fairly quickly. In review cases, however, might be 7 to 15 days before they are in stock and ready to go. When cases are in review, you can open a GoldStar IRA and initiate a transfer, and the timing works out pretty smoothly, depending on your current custodian. Cases that we list as in our pipeline are still in the court approval and review process. It might be 30 to 45 days. When you're using qualified funds, it's best to open your IRA when you select a case because it costs only $25 to open an IRA account. We wouldn't ask you to initiate a transfer to your IRA until there's a high degree of certainty on a case. When it's no longer an if it will be court approved, it's just a question of when we can close. That's noted by the status of in review or in stock. So if you purchase a case, you decide to purchase a case and it's in review, I would ask you to open your IRA and initiate a transfer right away so that we can move funds from your current custodian into the GoldStar account in a timely manner. The steps in an IRA transaction are really quite simple. First, you open the account. You would input DCF Exchange on page 8 of the account application, which we'll get to in just a minute, as the wholesale representative. This allows us to communicate with GoldStar about the account opening process and the timeline or any issues they're having with getting funds transferred from your current custodian. Funding that transfer is a different form. It's the transfer request form. And as mentioned just a moment ago, you would initiate a transfer when the case is in review or in stock. Finally, buying the DCF income payment is accomplished with the direction of investment form, which is included in the closing book, which is emailed to you when a case is in stock and ready to close. The DocuSign signature on the direction of investment form directs GoldStar Trust Company to take funds out of the IRA and move them into the escrow account in order to purchase the payment stream. GoldStar is also, as your custodian, a signer in the closing book, and they sign electronically via DocuSign as well on the assignment and other forms on the payments on the closing book. The IRA account opening paperwork is available on our website for easy download. Fill the forms out on your computer, save, sign, and print them if need be. You can complete and return the forms to newbusiness@goldstartrust.com. The nominal account opening fee can be paid by a credit card, and depending on the timeline of a case, you can initiate the transfer of funds from your current custodian into GoldStar. When purchasing a case using IRA dollars, you would note on the reservation form that the purchaser would be GoldStar Trust, FBO, or for benefit of your name, and an IRA account number. Don't worry if you don't have an account number open. You can simply note that you're opening an account. As mentioned earlier, the direction of investment form will be included in your closing book when the case is ready to close. The specific amount of the purchase price will be filled in, and your IRA account information will also be filled in. Electronic signature on this directs GoldStar to move the funds out of your IRA account and into the purchase. Signature on the direction of investment form directs GoldStar to execute the purchase on your behalf. Let's take a look at an actual DocuSign closing book with a direction of investment form attached. Contact your advisor with any other questions to get started with DCF income payments today.